How much cardio is too much cardio? So huge in the media and social media is all the coaches saying you're not losing weight because you're doing too much cardio or you're not eating enough. That makes no sense. Think about it. You're not eating enough and you're doing too much cardio. That's why you're not losing weight. The news flash is you need to burn off more calories than you're taking in to lose weight. Whether it's from not eating many calories or from burning off a ton of those calories, it doesn't matter. Something has to happen so that you're burning off more than you take in. It's a scientific fact that you cannot argue against. You can't up your calories and sit around and do less cardio and all of a sudden lose weight. It's impossible. You need to burn off the food you're eating in order to lose weight. So, if your coach makes you do 2 hours of cardio a day and not eat much, don't blame your coach, blame God. Or blame your parents. For example, muscle or fat cell hyperplasia will occur a few times in your lifetime. The most common time would be at birth, like when you're young. When you're a kid, if you're overfed as a kid, your fat cells will split. So say you got a fat cell and it splits, now you have two. Then you have two fat cells and it'll split and you'll have 4 fat cells and it can divide. Then you have a whole bunch of fat cells and then you get older and those fat cells are going to want to fill up with fat because you have too many of them. So either God made you with too many of those fat cells or your parents sucked and they fed you too much food and cake and candy when you were a kid, a little baby, and crying at the store, and they give you a little chocolate bar to shut you up. And that's why you're fat now, because they fed you too much. So that's why you don't want to see kids running around obese, and it's like, really, it's child abuse if you're a parent and you're overfeeding your kid, because guess what? You grow up and you have heart disease, all kinds of problems. But anyway, get back to this. Professional bodybuilders and professional, figure, bikini, all these competitors, the pros, the top of the list, the cream of the crop, they're not complaining that they have to do an hour to 2 hours to 3 hours or whatever hours cardio they have to do. They don't complain, they do it because they have the mindset of a champion. They want to be the best and they'll do anything to be that top athlete. So they don't whine, 2 hours cardio, that's so much. Nowadays you have people, they enter a competition after training for 6 months and they want to win their first show and be a pro by the time they're 22, and they don't even want to do an hour of cardio because, oh my God, that's too much cardio. How can you do that much cardio? Lance Armstrong did 5 or 8 hours cardio a day all the time. He had to ride the bike. You can say he did EPO or whatever, but as if half the bodybuilders and competitors aren't taking some kind of fat burner too. So anyway, you have to be willing to put in the work to get the results you're looking for. It's not a 4-week process. It's hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would enter these contests. Everyone would just be like, look at me, I'm in awesome shape. It's not. That's why it's so amazing that people do these competitions and they take on this challenge. It's like climbing Mount Everest. Why is Mount Everest so impressive to climb? Because it's so hard. I can't climb Mount Everest. Anyone that climbed that mountain is amazing. That's crazy to me. It's just out, outside the box. So anyone that sees a bikini figure bodybuilder, it doesn't matter. Anyone that steps on that stage in amazing shape, that takes serious dedication, willpower, and that heart and that attitude to be able to do it. So it's respect for anyone that can get in shape. Now, it's not respect for somebody that enters a show and didn't try hard and just stood there and placed whatever. Well, that wasn't hard. It's all right that you got in a bikini on a stage, but it's not hard, okay? So getting in shape is impressive, okay? If you're in shape, you did good. If it took you 2 hours a day to do it, so be it. If it took 30 minutes, so be it. All right, so we talked about all this stuff. Okay. Oh, if a coach comes up to you and says, your coach makes you do too much cardio and you're not eating enough, it's because they want you to hire them. They want money. They're like, oh, pay me $1,000. I'll get you in shape. I'll make you eat chips and pop and candy, and we'll fit your macros, and we'll whatever. You can eat Pop-Tarts every day. And that's the secret. You just need to follow the macros. I won't even give you a diet plan. Just eat 20 grams of carbs and meal 5 times a day. Here you go, $1,000. Your coach doesn't tell you to train enough, and he tells you the wrong stuff, and he's bad. No, the coach wants you to hire them to make money. Think about it. So next time you listen to another coach, if all they're doing is telling you that your coach is 100% wrong about everything, it's probably because they want to hire you to hire them. Okay, I've done 54 shows and I've been in shape 54 times, so I probably know what I'm doing. So it's not to brag that I'm better, it just is proof that I clearly know what I'm doing if I come in shape 54 times. So, was there a secret? Is there a magic pill? I just swallow this pill and it's like, oh, I'm in shape every show. No! What I was always able to do was use cardio as a tool to get me in shape. Okay? So if I was more out of shape off season because I tried bulking, which is stupid, which I did because everyone does at some point, and then I had to do way more cardio to get in shape. So here's a story for you. I once did 16 hours of cardio in 2 days, and I lost 2% body fat in 2 days, and I rode 450 kilometers on my bike, and it took 16 hours. Okay? That's a lot of cardio. Did it work? Abso-freaking-lutely. I was like, in 2 days, way leaner. Do I recommend you all get on a bike for that long? No, that's a lot, but I was willing to do it because I'm just crazy like that. I can do it. It doesn't matter if I did that. But it kind of proves the point that if you did 2 hours, that's a lot less than 8. It's not like, wow, oh my God, you did 2 hours of cardio a day. That's so hardcore. You're so amazing. When I was on the swim team, we swam 2 hours a day, and we weren't at a slow pace. It's hard. When I was on a bike team, we were out, rode bikes 3 to 5 hours a day. At a hard pace, it was hard, because we're athletes. Sitting on a treadmill or bike or stepper and standing there and going, it's not hard. You're just going through the motions. It's not like an athlete working out hard. It's not like you're in the gym, curls and squats and deadlifts and pushing yourself. You're just standing there on a treadmill or a stepper and moving. It's not hard. It's like walking your dog. It's a walk in the park, literally, is cardio. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about HIIT cardio. HIIT cardio, we're going like flat out sprinting for 30 seconds and resting a minute. No, you can't go 4 hours of that. That's insane. But I'm talking steady state simple cardio just to burn fat. You can go for hours and hours and hours, and it's not going to mess you up. It's not going to burn your muscle. Okay? You're going to be able to do it as long as you're eating enough. Simple. Next. The level of intensity that is at the steady state is going to matter. If you're an untrained 22-year-old and you just show up at the gym and you want to do a show, you can't go as hard as somebody who did triathlons their whole life. So when I did triathlons my whole life and I could do cardio, I could go at cardio at a higher percentage of my maximum heart rate than someone else. So take your average out of shape dude, you go into the gym, 60% of their max heart rate, that's probably hard for them, okay? Take Mr. Fitness, you see the guy or girl running around, that person, they're legit in shape. They can go 80 to 90% of their max heart rate, and they can do that and handle it with no problem and recover because they're like in awesome shape. So take that into account. So when you're doing your cardio, you have to know if you're in shape, your heart rate can be higher. If you're not in shape, it can be lower. You can't just say, your coach should say, oh, heart rate, yep, go at 120 beats a minute, go at 130, go at 1... No, they don't know. You can't just say that. Plus, bradycardia, tachycardia, 15% of each. That means higher or lower than average in the heart rate. 22, 20 minus your age, I'm 40, so technically my max heart rate's 180. What if it's 140? Then, 100 beats a minute for me might be hard. What if my max heart rate really 210? Then 140 might be a joke. So you can't go by that. So just go at a moderate pace that you feel comfortable at. If you're like dying and you're like, can't even talk, then you're pushing it hard and you probably can't handle 2 hours of that. It's common sense. But literally, if your cardio is a walk in the park, you can handle hours and hours. So One more point, then I'll go to answering the question of how much cardio is too much cardio. The longer you do cardio, the more fat you burn. And I'm talking percentage-wise. So obviously, if you go 2 miles an hour, the whole cardio on 15%, say you're walking slowly on a steep incline, you're burning the same amount of calories in the first minute as in the 50th minute, as in the 100th minute. But the percentage of calories coming from body fat is higher the longer you go. So if your coach says do 20 minutes of cardio, the first 20 minutes, they're not burning much fat. You're actually burning mostly glycogen or carbs or food, we'll call it. The last 20 minutes, say you do 2 hours and 20 minutes, from 2 hours to 2 hours and 20, you're burning almost entirely the fat on your body. So the longer your cardio lasts, the more fat you're actually burning as a percentage versus carbohydrates. So, you know, I'm going to do another video about like when to do your cardio and all that stuff, but I won't get into it too much, but like empty stomach cardio, you know, all that stuff. It's like, if you just get up in the morning and do 20 minutes of cardio, you're not burning fat all of a sudden like that. The longer you go, the more you're going to burn into fat. So I'll leave it there, okay? But we'll talk about it in another video. So what's too much cardio? Because that's the point of this video, is what's too much? It might be 30 minutes. It might be 4 hours. The answer is there's no answer, okay? So I can only leave like points of what to follow, like rules, okay? If you're passing out when you're doing your cardio, it's too much cardio. So if you're on minute 40 and you literally fall off the treadmill, it's too much cardio. Simple, right? Don't pass out. Another thing, if you're ready to pass out, eat some fast-acting carbs. Have some battle juice or something, some, you know, like fast sugar carb stuff that you can just get in your mouth really quick, maybe even a rice cake at this time, so that you don't pass out, you don't have super low glycogen. And then that little bit of energy might be just enough to allow you to burn fat, continue on with your cardio. You're also doing too much cardio if the cardio you're doing is making you lose muscle. So, if your body fat is dropping, but you're also dropping muscle with that, that is not what we want to see. So that means you're doing too much cardio. You might need to hold back on cardio. So monitor your body fat percent and your weight. And remember my rule from another video, lose up to 1% of your weight a week. So if you're losing more than 1% of your body weight a week, you're probably doing too much cardio, because you shouldn't need to lose that quickly unless you bulked up in off season and now you gotta burn it off at a faster rate than normal because you're not in shape, and unfortunately you're just gonna have to deal with losing the muscle that you built in the first place from bulking because you got too fat. Sorry. You're losing faster than your coach wants to. So I have clients that are like, say, 16 weeks out and they look amazing, and I'm like, I don't want them to lose any weight for 2 more months because they're already lean enough. And if they lose faster, then they're just going to be shredded at 12 weeks out. I don't need a competitor in contest stage ready 12 weeks out. So if the coach says you're losing too much, then you got to cut back on cardio. It's another simple rule. If you can't recover enough to train hard with weights. So basically, when I know I'm doing too much cardio, I'll feel it in my legs. I'm like, there's no way I can train legs now because my legs are just too dead from the cardio that I've done. So that's the biggest sign that it's too much cardio for me, is that I'm too tired to do my weights and like my muscles just feel achy and bad. That's too much cardio. It might be from 30 minutes, but it might be from 8 hours. And it also depends on your fitness level. I probably can handle more cardio than most people and recover because I've done triathlons for many years of my life. So I have a better overall fitness level than, say, a beginner would. All right, so monitor that. So if you're sore, you shouldn't be getting sore from your cardio unless you're doing HIIT cardio, but I disagree with doing HIIT cardio, and I'll give it a video on that for another reason later. You hate your life more than you're willing to accept. Okay, so you know you're doing too much cardio if you hate your life. So if your coach is saying you got to do 2 hours a day and you don't have time because you have a job and you have family and kids and you hate your life more than you should, because trust me, contest prep, you are often going to hate your life no matter what. It's hard. You're going to hate doing some cardio sometimes because you're just tired. It's normal. But I'm saying you hate it more than normal. Like you're like every day, oh, I hate this competing stuff. I don't want to do it. Then don't friggin' compete. Just drop out. Take up golf. You know, you'll get your cardio in and have fun and shoot the thing around. All right. So don't do too much to the point that you hate your life. Also, it really depends on your diet too. Like if you're eating 4,000 calories a day, you're probably gonna have to do 4 hours of cardio a day. But if you're only eating 1,000 calories a day, you might not need to do any cardio at all. So you can always talk that over with your coach and say, you know, I don't have the kind of time to devote to the gym, so I have to